Warning, what you're about to watch is a spoiler to the movie Chronicle. If you are planning on seeing the movie, do not watch this video. Otherwise, enjoy. At the very beginning, Andrew purchases his own video camera so he can record his life. And from the very beginning, you can tell that his father is a very abusive father. Andrew isn't opening the door for him because he doesn't want him inside his room. So his father was sitting there and he was threatening him. And then there was his mom, who is extremely sick, and it is very difficult to care for her because it is a very poor family, and it's difficult for them to get the medicine for her. As he's recording all of this, he really isn't a very social person. He goes to school, he carries it around, and he records school for everything. He gets bullied. He's not acknowledged, and the only person who he ever really talks to is his cousin Matt. He tries to support him in all the ways that he can, and so Matt is trying to help Andrew, so he takes him to a party, and Andrew just sat there outside recording, and he was crying because he was really sad he's being made fun of in the party. The class president, or the person running for class president, Steve, he comes out and he wants to record, so he wants him to record something with them. They go travel out in this field, and there's this really strange hole in the middle of this field. They decide to go into it. Andrew's very hesitant on going in there, and so whenever they get to the end of the cave, all their noses started to bleed, and the camera was freaking out. The camera was destroyed, and they left it there because it had to get out. From then on forward, they don't know what actually happened inside the cave. And whenever they get out, they realize that they can do like a bunch of cool stuff with it. So they start out with just chucking baseballs at each other. And Andrew, he was able to contain it the best first, and he was able to contain it the best throughout the entire movie. Before the baseball hit him in the face, he stopped it. We're having a lot of fun with that. They decided to go out and take it into the public and start pranking a bunch of people. And they started researching telekinesis, which is what they figured out that they had. They started researching telekinesis, and they realized it's almost like a muscle, and you don't want to stretch it too much. You want to kind of work it out first. Every time they kind of did something too much, they would start to bleed. And they would always be able to tell if someone's trying to do something dangerous because they're all connected in some way. If Andrew were to do something really dangerous, and Matt's and Steve's noses would start to bleed, and they would know that he was doing something. Well, after their day of pranking people, on their way back home, Andrew took it a little too far, and he pushed a car behind him aside, and Steve jumped in and saved him, and the paramedics came, and so they decided to make rules so something like this didn't happen again. Andrew began taking his power he wasn't using it responsibly. They figured out that they were able to fly by pushing off the ground, and then they could fly. While Andrew was flying up in the air, Steve came up to see what was wrong, and Andrew didn't want him to be there, so it was a lightning storm out, and he accidentally killed Steve. He started just getting way too crazy with everything. And then his father figured out that he bought like a $500 camera instead of getting his mom medicine, so he was really mad. And Andrew throws throws his father and hurts him, and he chases him out, and then he's realizing that his mom is actually about to die, so he goes to this shop and he steals a bunch of money from them so he can go get meds at the pharmacy. And as he's walking out, the shopkeeper comes out with a gun, and he uses his telekinesis to throw it, but it hits the gas line and it explodes, but Andrew survived. So while he was in the hospital, his dad was going out to look for him, and his dad, whenever he came back, saw that his mom was that his wife is dead. So he went to the hospital and he found Andrew and blamed it all on him. And he was talking to him, saying whenever he's out of this, he's gonna beat the crap out of him. And whenever his dad touches his arm, there's like this huge explosion in the hospital, and Andrew goes completely insane. And probably one of the coolest parts of this movie is whenever everybody's sitting in a building and recording him, he shatters all the glass and takes all the recording devices and puts it in a circle around Matt and him, because Matt is trying to stop him. And it can go through all these camera views with all the cameras circling him. So that was like one of the coolest things. Andrew is a lot more powerful than Matt, so he's beating the crap out of him. And eventually he's just going completely insane. He's destroying buildings, he's killing all these cops, till eventually Matt is lying on the ground and Andrew is destroying all the buildings and everything, and there's a statue holding a spear, so Matt uses the spear and stabs it through him. And that was basically the end. It cuts to a scene of him in of Matt flying the Tibet because Andrew wanted to go there. And so he flew there and he was talking to Andrew through the camera, saying that he was sorry about everything, but it just needed to be done. And he showed that, and he said that he was going to find out everything that happened no matter what. And he showed that they were in Tibet, and that's how it ended. So overall, it was a really awesome movie.